All right, I am ready. Did you guys hear me shuffling around? Happy Tuesday, beautiful souls. Let me put in my headphones, that way I can clearly hear you. I want to do some logistics. Let me bring this screen up here. Bring this one here. Okay, we are post-Christmas. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, happy holiday season greetings to all of you during this special time of the year. Those of you colleagues, associates who celebrate Hanukkah, and happy Kwanzaa day one for those of you who are in celebration of Kwanzaa today. So season greetings, you guys. And shout out to Shaka Z on Instagram. Peace, brother. I appreciate you. Shaka gives me love on the Instagram. So that's encouraging. That's inspiring, because then I know what I'm doing is not in vain. Somebody's paying attention, and it's all good. I appreciate you. So Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays. I dropped my book. Excuse me. But if you're new to the show, we are on episode number 24, which is pretty exciting, because I was in the shower today and I was thinking to myself, here's what's interesting about this, that for 2018, when I get through the show, when I get through the series, there's only 52 weeks in a year. So that only gives me 52 episodes for 2018, and there's 200 ways to shift our thinking together. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm pretty stoked to know 24 plus 52 gives us 76. And we'll still have some to go into 2019 and probably a little bit of 2020. So this is exciting, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to actually see me transform over the years. Can you hear that? Over the years. And I'm really excited about that. So this morning's show, for episode number 24, I want to call it the Gateway to God. I've been saying this for some time, and I think this is what I want to call the show, the Gateway to God. For those of you who have this book, we are on the section, he says, if you're looking to find yourself, look at what shows up in other people as you engage with them. So this is what we're going to call it, the Gateway to God. And I'm going to just drop this in the comment box. If you're on, just drop in it and say hi, say hello. Just give some love. The Gateway. Boom. All right, I'm gonna drop that in the comment box, and I'm good there. Sweet. I'm feeling pretty awesome right now, especially because, you guys, it was really difficult. I felt like I went into a hibernation mode, and I was sleeping, and I was in this introspection. I don't know how many of you have had time to do that, but that the last 72 hours for me has been very internal. I've been in introspective mode. So it's been really interesting, to say the least, because I've learned a lot. And my hair is still a little wet, so let me just do this, give it a little life, give it a little life. There we go. I'm loving my new hair, by the way, you guys. Having like a fantastic time. So I'm jumping in. When it comes to finding oneself, there seems to be a myriad of philosophies and methods ranging from somewhat pragmatic to near insane, and most of them involve some kind of get away from it all strategies. Well, I have some smelling salts for you. The quest to find one's true self as a whole lot is a whole lot easier and more relevant than a trip to the Dalai Lama. Ironically, the journey of self-discovery is rarely thousands of miles away from anything. It's usually a feet away, in our homes, on our streets, and at our work. Every conversation and interaction that we have with someone is an opportunity to discover ourselves by what manifests in the other in the moment and over time. So I'm going to build on that really quick. Especially that's a good place to build real quick on. And let me just do logistics, if you will. Let me just make sure I pass this along through the grapevine of the timeline. As I'm doing this, I invite you to share this. As a matter of fact, do that real quick. All right, cool. Yay, it's shared. Feeling pretty good about that. All right. So here we go. Boom. Every conversation and interaction that we have with someone is an opportunity to discover ourselves by what's manifests in the other in the moment and over time. This is really great because I think we talked about this a while back. We said, if you're seeing something in someone else that resonates, it may rub you the wrong way, the right way. Really what you're seeing is part of you, because guess what? The gateway to God, right? The eyes, the vision, the vibration, the energy, you know that before someone even opens their mouth. You know where they're operating from. Oftentimes you can be intuitive, and we're all intuitive. I think this year I've heightened more of my intuitive abilities. I think because I'm putting myself out here when I do something like Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, where you get to actually hear my thoughts. You can see me apply some of my intuitive skills. But that's me knowing myself. I invite you to explore more of your intuition, because that's a way for us to connect with people's intentions. And this is like, I say this all the time, treating the people like the gateway to God. Whatever your God is, that is personal definition, personal preference, personal purpose, whatever that is for you. And I'm using God in such a very large definition, because everyone knows of that word, but your God can be divinity. You can call it whatever you call it. And when I say God, gateway to God, I'm saying here, hold up that mirror. And this is what I'm saying in terms of the way I'm breaking this down and I'm interpreting it, is that when you are interacting and what you're seeing in the external world, guess what? What you see and how you see it is not how I see it and how I experience it. So it's very different, which makes me really be, Freud had said this in terms of how we're very egocentric. And really that's another way of saying we were God or gods, goddesses of our realities, of our own universe, right? Because we're experiencing it each in every way, very uniquely and differently to everybody else. Shaka's like going in. Let me see real quick. He says, teach, Empress. All right. I appreciate it. So he's building with me here. I appreciate it. It's a great time to build and connect because as we're going into this new, and for me, it's a new personal year right now, which is really amazing because I'm a December baby. I made my trip around the sun, right? And I've got that extra dose of energy from the sun, that extra dose of life. So can you imagine for me, the further I'm away from the energy of the sun as I move around, my energy becomes depleted. And if you don't know that about yourself, you should explore how your personal year relates to the entire energy and the vibration of the world, the planet, and the people around you. I invite you to do some self-exploration, especially as we're talking about the gateway to God. This is one of the reasons in terms of everyone that I run across, and it really has transformed my life. It has transformed my life when everyone that I've run across, and even when I connect with through the Wi-Fi, I mean, could you imagine the frequency that's happening here, that we're no longer limited to physically being here in the 3D realm, that now scientifically we're at 5D to 10D dimensions. And it's interesting, and that includes spiritual realms. I'm a very spiritual person. You guys know that about me. Those of you who are connecting with me know that that's something I honor. I honor my ancestors. And when we're talking about Gateway to God, that is something that we should also be exploring, right? Our worlds. So I love this, right? I'm like, this excites me, especially because, one of my energies is about philosophy, and I'm deep like that. The effects of our words, actions, and commitments will reveal who we are in ways that make the mystical smoke and mirrors methods appear empty and self-serving. The practice of paying attention to what shows up in others as a result of our behavior can facilitate accurate self-discovery in a matter of seconds, not years. One does not have to go halfway around the globe. For example, when I make someone smile, I get to find myself in their smile. I shade to that, right? I find myself in the truth that they share back. On the flip side, when I make someone angry, I get to see myself show up in their frustration. When I hurt or confuse someone, I get to see myself revealed in their pain, and so on and so forth. And he's saying so as in you reap what you sow, so on and so forth. You reap what you sow. That is scientific, you guys. Those seeds that you are planting out there don't fall into the abyss. I know that for a fact. They don't fall into the abyss. The words, the actions that you are planting, exuding, guess what? They come to life. And like he's saying, at times it may not be a year. Sometimes it just shows up in the person right in front of you, in a behavior or an experience that is transmuting itself. So that's pretty heavy. I mean, this is pretty heavy when you really digest that. And if you catch it on the replay, I invite you to really explore this, because as we're doing the Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, it's once a week for 13 minutes. We're going to build together to transform our inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience. And when you read something like this, it's not about getting through the book and saying, cool, I read that book and I'm done. And that resonates with me. And I'm speaking to myself here because this is one book that I'm doing very differently from some of the other books that I'm reading. I'm reading about 3 books a week. Various books build on each other. Some, cross each other. But this book that I'm sharing with you, that I've broken out into a series, and when we're talking about 200 ways to apply this, your life is not something that you do in an instant. Although we know that it can be as quick as a blink, but your life is something that you're building on, And so when I say that, I've called today's show the Gateway to God. That is everything, everyone, every action, every word that you are doing is a gateway to your divinity, is a gateway to your universe, because you don't know who can change your life Either way, and I'm going to say that because when we talk about karma, right, we talk about karma, and I've seen different bumper stickers about karma. But here's the interesting about karma. Karma doesn't have a vibration of good or bad, that is only positive or only negative. Karma is karma. It's the seed that you have sown that is going to give birth to itself, right? And your karma, depending on if you're putting out good karma, you get what you reap. It's scientific. It's scientific. I'm serious. It's scientific. Let me see. Brother Charles says, peace, Queen. I'm interested in what he says, number one, children's book. Oh, okay. Nice. All right. Shout out to you. I'm glad. So he's releasing, he's sharing that what he's doing. So that's amazing. Give birth to those gifts and talents that you have, that you came here with. I'm not shy to say that I came here with a purpose, and I know what my purpose is. I rep all the time. For instance, you see my jersey, it says Ready Set Real Estate. I'm all about that. I'm all about the empowering and closing intergenerational wealth gaps for us. That's what I'm about. So I feel like I'm going to teach the youth, the next generation, so they have the tools, knowledge, and skills coming into this new arena, so they can play too, that they have the tools too, that they're properly equipped. So I commend you, brother, for doing that. So again, the author says it is a simple sowing and reaping principle, meaning others are the measure of how we show up, and those results matter, not philosophies and hypotheticals. Guess what? Not philosophies and hypotheticals. I appreciate that, because I've just been saying this consistently, that is reap what you sow, that everyone is the gateway to God, your God, whatever that personal definition, purpose, preference is for you, your universe, because you don't know the person that can change your life with a phone call, an action, and word. And especially when we're talking about a generation of people that needs to go through healing. Healing is very important. I think that's really what Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays is all about, is healing some things in you. That way you can hold up the mirror and recognize that growth, soul growth, is the purpose, at least for me, and I invite you to explore that for yourself. So I'll leave this with you. For those of you who are celebrating and anticipating in 2018 that things are going to be different, because it's very interesting when I see people do this. And for those of you who are studies of the sciences, of the old sciences, the mystery sciences and stuff like that, when you look at the energy of coming into January, it's a very conservative time. If you look at those who are born in that time, they're very conservative people. They're not really about change. So for you to declare to do a change around that time, and when you look at statistically that most people who set New Year's resolutions around this time of energy normally falters off. So I invite you to explore setting goals around the time where you're born, because that's when you came into the world. That is when you came into existence, when you came into into Earth, ER. I invite you to explore the words, the actions, the intentions in which you set that will impact the gateway to your God, your divinity, your universe. All right, you guys, that's my time. Make sure you let someone know that we're doing Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays every week at 8:10 Pacific time. Be sure to subscribe, like, share at lasuperagent. I also am doing a book giveaway of this book for, I think this month. I probably will end it and do something different for next year. I'll do something different as a fun little thing, just to keep this going and just keep us engaged. So be sure to visit the website at lasuperagent.com. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a powerful and productive week, you guys.